social persistence. Any problem I got, I just put my fist in. My life is violent.
When you say yes, you turn someone else's problems into yours.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I mean, if you compare me to a gangbanger that's out shooting, killing, and stuff like that, that wasn't me.
Ice-T was once Hollywood's untouchable hero, the biggest cultural icon in America. He was a multifaceted genius, topping the box office, dominating the Billboard charts, making the whole world laugh and cry. But that was only what the world was allowed to see. Behind it were the terrifying nightmares Ice-T secretly buried for 50 years. The first black artist ever placed by the FBI into a national threat category. A name once erased from American primetime television across every major network. And a man trapped in a marriage that looked perfect, but exploded with infidelity, betrayal, and violence. What really happened? Who had the power to erase a genius from history? And here is the truth about Ice-T that Hollywood buried for nearly 3 decades. Do not look away. What is about to be revealed is far worse than anyone ever imagined. And the final tragedy will bring you to tears. Ice-T, the child standing between 2 graves. The man later famous under the stage name Ice-T, born Tracy Lauren Marrow, was born on February 16, 1958, in Newark, New Jersey. He grew up in Summit, a quiet town where race was almost never an issue in the eyes of children. In his book, Ice: A Memoir of Gangster Life and Redemption, he called his early years peaceful, simple, and suburban to the core. His father was a quiet, blue-collar man living by the routine of go to work, go home. His friends were mostly working-class white men. According to Ice-T, they got along, respected each other, and no one cared about skin color. His mother was intelligent, reserved, not openly affectionate, yet always caring for her child in her own way. However, that peaceful life did not last long. When Tracy was in 3rd grade, his mother suddenly died from a severe heart attack. Ice-T recalled that moment we were watching TV, and she just leaned back and started breathing hard. My dad just said, "Go knock on the neighbor's door." His memories of his mother remained as faint images, like an old home movie buried deep in his subconscious. But before that pain could settle 4 years later, his father died of the exact same cause. Ice-T remembered, "I didn't cry when my mom passed. I didn't cry when my dad passed. I was too young, and everything happened too fast. As an only child, I went through it all, in my own world." The adults in the family thought the boy was emotionless, but in reality, Ice-T said it was a survival mechanism that switched on at age 12. After his father died, he moved to live with his aunt in South Central Los Angeles, and that was the real shock. From a quiet suburban town, Ice stepped into a neighborhood notorious for gangs, violence, and poverty. Welcome to LA, and guess what? There are gangs here. In the beginning, Tracy took the bus to school in upscale Culver City, completely different from where he lived. Later, he and his friends transferred to Crenshaw High, a school considered Crips territory. To avoid getting bullied, they created a fake gang called the Hillside Crips. Ice said, "We acted like we had 100 guys behind us. We had nothing, it was just a front. But it was enough so nobody messed with us." His charisma helped him sell that story and earn respect from tough street figures. But even though he socialized with gangs, Ice still kept good grades. And despite his friends discouraging him, he was determined to finish high school. Ice admitted, "I pretended to ditch, but I was actually ditching my friends to go back to school." By senior year, his girlfriend 2 years younger became pregnant. With no family, no money, and no support system, Ice-T chose the only path available, joining the military. But while he was serving, the relationship fell apart. When he returned to Los Angeles, Ice faced the truth. There were not many opportunities for a young black veteran and new single father. His old friends picked him up in a Mercedes and said bluntly, "This is what we're doing now." Then they dragged him into a series of smash-and-grab jewelry robberies. Military discipline turned Ice into the leader, and the crew stayed smooth for a while. After that, he even worked as a pimp, a period that helped Ice observe and understand the underworld deeply enough to later turn it into artistic material. The life of an illegal hustler brought him steady income for a time. Ice once took spontaneous trips to the Bahamas and owned more than 350 pairs of sneakers. But the thrill of luxury faded quickly. In an interview, Ice-T recalled his turning point. "I had a friend I really admired because he made more money than me. And he said, "Ice, you've got a shot. Try rap." And the word shot messed with my head. I quit hustling completely. First steps into music. Every hip-hop artist needs a stage name, and Ice-T was born, thanks to writer Robert Maupin Beck III, who inspired Tracy Marrow. Ice recorded his first single in 1983, "The Coldest Rap." Then an unexpected door opened. Ice was invited to audition for a film. At the time, he refused because he was still trapped in debts and car thefts. But then his friends started going to prison one by one. Living every day with the possibility of going down is not as cool as you think, Ice told The Guardian. The advice from his friend behind bars was like a slap to the face. You don't have to die here. And Ice decided to try, changing his life. He took a guest role in Breakin' with a rate of $500 a day, just enough to pivot onto a new path. The film brought hip-hop to the national screen, and Ice-T used every bit of that rare spotlight to step fully into music. From there, everything exploded. In 1986, 6 in the Morning appeared like a blast in hip-hop, a never-before-seen self-made street mafia persona. But just as that image was shaping gangsta rap, a political storm began forming. In the mid-'80s, the US government, pushed by the PMRC, launched a campaign to cleanse indecent music. They targeted Madonna and Prince at first, but the rise of gangsta rap made Ice-T an immediate new target. Ice did not stand still. In the album, The Iceberg Freedom of Speech, Just Watch What You Say, he pushed back directly at the PMRC and the city of Columbus, Georgia, which had jailed artists for indecency. He pointed out the uselessness of censorship and the hypocrisy of people who claimed to protect the First Amendment yet wanted to tear it apart. But all of those achievements, impact, and pioneering efforts turned him into America's outcast. In 1992, along with Body Count, Ice released the band's debut album, and in the middle of it was the song that blew the entire country up, Cop Killer. As you know, the song was quickly condemned nationwide for encouraging violence against police. The government immediately applied pressure until Time Warner blocked the release of Home Invasion, Ice-T's next solo album. But that was just the surface of what the media recorded. Because after that, the real nightmare began to hit Ice-T. Two colliding ambitions, a dangerous conflict. American media reacted extremely harshly and divisively to Ice-T's controversial albums. Headlines blasted everywhere, "Cop Killer under FBI scrutiny." Ice-T public enemy Gerald Levin defends controversial rapper. But the media was only the surface. Beneath it, a far more terrifying storm was forming, aimed straight at a black artist who dared poke the machinery of power. Many post-case documents reveal the FBI closely monitored Ice-T after Cop Killer, placing him under potential extremist influencer status, a high-risk classification at the time. Then came a surprise IRS audit, right when his album was under its most severe attack. Nearly 1,500 major stores across America simultaneously removed Ice-T's album from shelves, from Tower Records to Walmart, Kmart, Sam Goody, all locking down every Body Count copy. A cultural blockade began hitting Ice-T. At that moment, Ice-T's cold gangster shell began to crack. People often assume success shields an artist from the darkness of their past, but for Ice-T, fame only isolated him further. Friends disappeared one after another. Family support was nearly non-existent, and the burden of representing an angry generation drained him until he no longer knew whether he was fighting for music or simply to keep himself from collapsing. Ice-T once admitted he learned to freeze emotions to survive, a typical reflex of orphans who grow up amid violence and loss. That isolation quickly pushed him into a period of deep depression. He worked like someone running from something, recording, acting, touring, as if pausing even for 1 second would let the past rise and choke him. Some lyric analysts noticed Ice-T showing signs of functional depression, and even mild PTSD, hypervigilance, always preparing for the worst, and especially the way he clung to his daughter Chanel, as if he never wanted to repeat the losses of his childhood. Few people know this. Ice-T stayed away from alcohol and drugs not because of morality or iron will, but because of the fear of being consumed. He always believed that if he got drunk even once, he would lose control, the only asset that kept him alive in both the streets and the entertainment industry. That fear intensified when a nerve injury forced doctors to prescribe opioids, the same drugs that have taken down millions of Americans. After just a few doses, Ice-T felt himself standing at the very edge of a familiar hole. He immediately stopped cut the medication and threw himself into work as a form of self-therapy. Coco, his wife, once shared something Ice-T himself never said. There were nights he locked himself in the studio, played music quietly, and cried. Cried out of helplessness, cried out of pressure, and cried out of his deepest fear, the fear that fans would abandon him the same way his parents left him. But that was not the real nightmare. Only a few years later, the wife he once adored became the person who made him lose faith in the world the most. The 4 stabs to his honor. The truth sealed for 2 decades. If there was ever a moment that made an OG like Ice-T truly lose control of his own life, it was 2012. The year the Coco and AP9 scandal exploded like a bomb in the middle of Las Vegas. Not violence, not politics, not music, but something that hurts more than all of that honor. The one thing a black man raised in the storms of the streets always considers the last asset he has left. Everything started with photos. Coco, the woman Ice-T loved so deeply that he changed his entire life to be, appeared in a series of intimate pictures with rapper AP9 at a Vegas nightclub. Not the harmless kind, not a fan meets idol moment. These were photos that would make any man feel a cold chill down his spine. The distance too close, the smiles too relaxed, and a kind of intimacy that a married woman never shows, unless she has crossed a line. AP9 then made everything worse. He bragged online, hinted, and then openly declared, "I slept with her." That sentence became a knife plunged into Ice-T's heart in front of millions. Ice-T truly lost his composure. He did something rare. In over 3 decades, he tweeted in a tone of pain, disappointment, and near heartbreak. "She made me look bad," he wrote. "I feel disrespected." Then he deleted it. An OG deleting a tweet is the sign of a man trying to hold on to whatever dignity he has left. Coco apologized immediately afterward, but this time she did not deny everything. No more just a misunderstanding. No more. He made it up. Coco admitted fault, admitted she crossed a line, admitted she betrayed her husband's trust, but she did not confirm whether there was sexual contact. A gray zone was created, and the internet always fills gray zones with the cruelest version of the truth. Rumors said AP9 had a video. Rumors said there were gifts, messages, even evidence that never surfaced. Rumors said Ice-T knew more than he ever revealed. And the most frightening rumor of all was that Coco had to beg Ice-T on her knees not to leave her. Many believed Ice-T forgave not because he was still in love, but because he did not want his future daughter to grow up in a broken home. He did not want his child to experience the exact pain he lived through his entire childhood, losing parents, losing family, losing foundation. Forgiveness for Ice-T was sometimes not weakness, it was instinct. Instinct to protect. Protect the child, protect the home, protect what the streets had stolen from him far too early. But was forgiveness strength? Or just the way a father shields his child from pain? But forgiveness does not mean the wound heals. It only means he chose to live with it. And like every wound left unstitched one day, it will bleed again. That happened in August 2025 on live television. Ice-T appeared on a show as a guest sharing the secrets to keeping a marriage strong. He smiled, spoke about patience, respect, partnership, until a viewer called in and asked directly, "How dare you give marriage advice when your wife cheated on you?" The whole studio fell silent. Ice-T froze for one beat, not because he had no answer, but because that question yanked him straight back to 2012, back to the scar he always hid under Fin Tutuola's suit. That 1 second, just one, was enough for America to see the truth that wound had never healed. The internet exploded instantly. Memes everywhere. People mocked him, laughed at him, even replayed the clip hundreds of times just to watch Ice-T get cornered. An OG who once faced down the entire political system, who stood tall before the fury of the White House over cop killer, was now knocked down by one stranger's question. What is more cruel, the wound from 2012? Or the fact that millions brought it back in 2025 as entertainment? But the worst part was not the humiliation. The worst part was that the internet permanently attached him to the image of the betrayed husband, no matter that he forgave, no matter that his family was happy, no matter his efforts to rebuild trust. This scandal did not destroy Ice-T's career, but it destroyed something deeper: the control over the story of his own life. From 2012 onward, whenever Ice-T stepped on a stage, whenever he spoke about family, that story was no longer his. It belonged to the internet. And that was only the next scandal, because what waited ahead was far darker. The family fall. There is a paradox even Ice-T struggles to accept. He could protect the marriage that nearly shattered after Coco's cheating scandal. He could stand before the media to shield his young daughter Chanel from every attack, but he could not protect his own son from the darkness that had followed him for years. For Ice-T, an affair scandal was survivable. Criticism about raising his daughter was ignorable. But the pain from his son's fall was the first time he truly revealed helplessness. Not as a rapper, not as a TV star, but as a father. That fall began in 2025, when Tracy Marrow Jr., Ice-T's son, publicly revealed that he had been addicted to opioids for a long time. Not a loud scandal, no leaked videos, no accusations from others. Just a straightforward confession, short and simple. But that alone was enough to set the internet on fire. And like every celebrity scandal, Tracy Jr.'s story was immediately widened into a public trial, where the father, Ice-T, was the defendant. 3 undeniable truths were these: Tracy Jr. was truly addicted to opioids. Ice-T was the one who directly took his son to rehab. And after treatment, Tracy Jr. wrote a message of gratitude. "Dad saved my life." 3 clear pieces of truth, but never enough for the internet. People did not want to hear about a father saving his son. They wanted a story of failure, a bad dad archetype, a reason to explain everything they could not understand about a celebrity father-son relationship. Within hours, social media dug into 30 years of Tracy Jr.'s past to reconstruct the cause. They said Ice-T was absent in his son's childhood. They said he only knew how to be a father on TV, not in real life. They said he spoiled his daughter so much he forgot about his older son. No one knew the truth, but everyone stated their beliefs as if delivering a verdict. Clips of Tracy Jr. arguing on live streams were cut into evidence of losing control. Angry moments were labeled addict symptoms. Some anonymous accounts even claimed Tracy Jr. was using the scandal to get famous, trying to escape his father's shadow. No source confirmed it. No document backed it. But when the story involved the son of an OG like Ice-T, the number of people willing to believe the worst multiplied far beyond those wanting to understand the truth. While the internet raced to judge, Ice-T chose silence. He did not explain in long posts, did not write emotional letters, did not play the victim. When asked, he simply said, "I took him to rehab. He is safe. That is enough." A response that sounded strong, but to the internet became proof he was cold, avoiding responsibility, and not hurt enough. The age of social media does not allow silence. It treats silence as guilt. And Ice-T became a new target for the public to interpret however they wanted. The contrast was also dragged out while he treated Chanel like a treasure, slept beside her every night, held her hand since she was little. Tracy Jr. grew up during the years Ice-T was touring, filming, building a career, and was absent during many crucial moments. The internet used his love for his daughter to judge how he treated his son. And they concluded that this imbalance was the cause of Tracy Jr.'s downfall. In reality, Tracy Jr. confirmed that his father saved him. But the internet did not care. They cared about the narrative that let them judge. Perhaps this was the cruelest part of the scandal. Every effort Ice-T made to make things right was interpreted as a sign of guilt, even though he took his son to treatment, even though he was there when his son fell, even though he did not run away. Some said this was not Ice-T's fault, but the result of years he prioritized his career. Others said Tracy Jr. chose his own mistakes. But most of the internet reached their conclusion faster. Addict son means bad father. That is the simple but brutal logic of this era. What made this scandal heavier than the cheating scandal was not its scale, but where it struck the one place every man is most vulnerable: his role as a father. Infidelity Ice-T could endure. Being called sold out he could laugh at. But being labeled a failed father, that was a wound no success could cover. Ice-T saved his son from opioids. But he could not save himself from the invisible court where social media judges every father by their impossible standards. And that was worse than anyone ever imagined. Out of step with the era. Some scandals explode because of wrongdoing, but some scandals are born from one careless share. And in 2019, Ice-T fell right into that pit when he reposted a seemingly harmless meme with the word "fire" highlighted in the corner. He thought it was just a good quote. Fans saw a QAnon symbol. The internet hit the alarm. Within minutes, a political icon of hip-hop was shoved into the center of the most dangerous far-right movement in America at the time. Ice-T's reaction: no long clarification, no panicked delete. He just wrote 2 words straight and street-like: "Eat a dick." A response that felt like 1990s Ice-T, yet completely mismatched with an era where every online action can become ammunition for the other side. And that bluntness unlocked a new wave of chaos. Countless posts, videos, and forums began claiming Ice-T is leaning far right despite zero evidence beyond the meme he shared. In reality, 3 things were simple. Ice-T shared a meme with a QAnon symbol. Fans warned him, and he reacted angrily. Afterward, he never engaged with or supported QAnon. That was it. But the gray zone was much wider, and the internet always prefers the blur over the truth. People asked, was Ice-T too lazy to fact-check? Or did he truly not understand how toxic QAnon had become at that time? Some opposing accounts even cropped the image zoomed in on the symbol and built full timelines to prove he secretly supported it. No logic needed, no evidence required. Just a story shocking enough to get views and stir comments. The sad thing is, Ice-T was not an artist born into the era of information warfare. He was a product of the 80s and 90s where artists lived and died by real-life actions, not by a wrong share on the internet. And the collision between those 2 eras made him an easy target for misunderstanding. The "I don't care" attitude that once protected him from traditional media became a knife cutting into his own image. In the digital age where every symbol once representing rebellion could now be dragged toward a movement he never belonged to. This story reveals a painful truth. Sometimes artists are not destroyed by major mistakes, but by small slips that the new era gives them no chance to correct. Ice-T did nothing wrong in the traditional sense. He did not make far-right statements. He did not promote conspiracy theories. He did not push political propaganda. He just shared a meme at the wrong time, in the wrong context, in the wrong culture. And just like that, 30 years of rebellious legacy from cop killer to body count were pulled out by strangers online to reanalyze, dissect, and reinterpret however they wanted. That is the worst part. Ice-T was not threatened by a far-right movement. He was threatened by an era where a single screen tap is enough to rewrite his entire life in a direction he could never control. The legacy of Ice-T's career. There is a paradox that even Ice-T still struggles to fully explain. A man who once made the White House panic because of cop killer has now become the most beloved police face on television for more than 25 years. The sold-out scandal did not explode like an affair or violent scandal. It was quiet, like a faint scratch. But over time, it spread, eating into Ice-T's reputation like acid. In the eyes of many early hip-hop fans, Ice-T's old rebellion was real. But Fin Tutuola on SVU was too clean, too proper, too Hollywood-approved. They called him someone who sold himself, someone who traded his soul for network money, someone who betrayed the cop killer oath. And the bitterness is that these accusations came from the very community that once saw him as an icon. 3 facts were too clear. 1, hip-hop fans called him sold out. 2, SVU was criticized by many journalists as propaganda media that glorifies police. 3, when asked, Ice-T only said, "I'm just acting." But that was only the surface. The hidden part of this iceberg was far heavier because it asked questions he could not answer in an interview. If someone plays a cop for 25 years, is it still acting, or has it become a second identity? When most young viewers only know Ice-T as Finn, do they still remember the man who once shook America with a protest song? And if Hollywood wanted to tame an OG, wouldn't turning him into a symbol of justice on TV be the perfect method? That gray zone trapped Ice-T in a double bind. The more he appeared on SVU, the more successful he became. But the more successful he became, the more his rebellious past was erased. Faded until kids born after 2000 believed Ice-T was always a cop. To them, cop killer was just trivia on Wikipedia. To them, Ice-T was never the man who stood against the entire system. His position was trimmed to fit network TV's mold, clean, proper, responsible, completely opposite the old OG spirit. And right when the Finn image rooted itself into the public mind, another type of scandal started spreading accusations like FBI asset fake gangster got away too easily. The irony is that there is no evidence whatsoever that Ice-T ever cooperated with agents or informed on anyone. His criminal past was real and fully verifiable. COINTELPRO. The FBI program that destroyed the lives of many black artists was also historical fact. But the internet does not need evidence. It only needs one question. How did a guy who robbed and hustled get off so easily? And suddenly, Ice-T's entire life was reread through a suspicious lens. On TikTok, people recreated his past like it was fictional. To the new generation, Ice-T might just be the old man telling gangster stories to sell albums, and Finn Tutuola was used as proof for a reckless conclusion. He has been working for them all along. This entire block of scandals leads to a conclusion colder than any accusation. The worst thing is not that Ice-T played a cop or was called sold out. The worst thing is that the internet is rewriting his entire life according to their entertainment needs. In an era where 3 parts truth and 7 parts conspiracy blend into one explosive narrative, Ice-T no longer controls who he is in the public eye. And that is the harshest sentence an OG can receive. And perhaps when all scandals eventually fade, only one truth will remain standing in the storm. Ice-T did not lose because of mistakes, and he did not fall because of accusations. He is simply growing old in an era where the public no longer wants to understand the real person, but only the version that feels easiest to believe. At the end of the journey, the thing being judged is not his past, but the way we treat legends when the spotlight shifts.
All data, analysis, and commentary in this video are presented based on information available at the time of production. The content is subject to change over time and should not be considered a definitive forecast. There is still so much more to explore: stories of resilience, legacy, and truth. Feel free to dive into some of our top recommended videos now appearing on your screen.